Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets Crypto, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 20th of August. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at ctmcrypto.substack.com. It is published on YouTube after a delay of 3 days. All right, we had a very significant day yesterday. There was news in the morning that from Scott Bessent that the US was going to be doing basically a management at the long end. They were going to be buying back more long-term treasuries and selling more short-term treasuries, and this sent yields going straight down on bonds and a big rally on equities, but also it started a big rally on crypto and on precious metals. Now, in terms of the equities and the bonds, those petered out pretty quickly. The yield is now higher, back higher on the 30-year. Stocks are lower than they were then, but we had a much, much bigger effect on crypto. And here we have seen breaks over the weekly middle band on the daily middle band, on the Bitcoin chart, and I've been talking about this as a big resistance level, and it is a very big resistance level. And I was thinking that the odds of the bear market low being in were at about 30%. I'm now upgrading that to about 50. So we will see. I've got two big levels I'm watching for resistance. One is the weekly middle band. I mean, there are bigger levels too. I mean, the main support for a bull market and main resistance in a bear market is actually this level here on Bitcoin, up in the 82,400 area, and that is the 50-week moving average. This is also a very big level, and as you can see, we are breaking over it. However, of course, that break isn't confirmed until we see a close average at the end of the week, which is on Sunday night. The other level which I watch is the 200 DMA, and that was a break over that as well. On the hourly chart, we've got quite a lot of negative divergence, RSI 14 and RSI 5. And one thing I would say is that historically, when we have done a move like this, which has broken back over the daily middle band, there's two things to say. One, this was generally after the bear market low. And two, we had we made a high and then had a sizable retracement afterwards, although that didn't make it back to the lows. But on Ethereum, this actually got back all the way and reversed the whole of the break candle. But there was still no lower low afterwards. So we are on notice that there may not be a lower low now. So the 200 DMA, well, as you can see, this has held perfectly for the bear market so far, so the breakup here is potentially very significant. And obviously on the hourly charts, we had a sell signal yesterday that failed, and we've got another one brewing. It hasn't fixed yet. And the other thing to notice is that I've been talking about the possible iron chest setup and the possible head and shoulder setup. This was actually acceptable as an iron chest setup. The right shoulder was getting a bit long, but it wasn't too long. So this is actually broken up with a target in the 76,300 area, and I'm considering that as a target. What I would say is I had two lines drawn in as potential flag targets, and we are here. Hang on, I'm just going to correct that very slightly. So we've gone through the first one, we haven't gone through the second. We've still got decent looking flag setups on Ethereum and on Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin and Solana, but we have lost it on Ethereum. But let's have a look. This would be, the second line would be the potential channel resistance. So I'm just putting that up as a possibility, but if we saw a reversal there, that again would look significant. All right, looking at Solana, we have seen a break with conviction over the weekly middle band there too. Do we have a historical example where this has happened before? Not before. In the last bear market, we didn't see that break before the low was made. But we didn't have really a direct equivalent of it either. Arguably this one, but we've been trading over it for quite a while. And we did come pretty close to a retest of the lows afterwards, but we didn't retest it. In terms of the daily chart, we have again broken over the 200 DMA. And in terms of the hourly chart, we've again got quite a lot of negative divergence on the hourly RSI 14 and RSI 5. On Ethereum, we saw a strong break up over the weekly middle band. I have a direct equivalent of that here. Again, it was after the lows. And here actually as well. It's but here we had a break up here, which was quickly reversed, but that was within a shorter term downtrend. This was still within a downtrend. Break up here. 2 weeks later, we are basically fully retracing that candle and going lower. And we had another strong break up here. That one basically had a back test of the break level. A few weeks later. So it's a little early to get too excited about the upside here, but nonetheless, this is still a warning sign that we may well have actually bottomed already, even though that was kind of early. In terms of the daily chart here, we could easily set up some negative divergence here, but obviously we'd need to pull back and a retest and a fail. In terms of the 200 DMA, obviously that is a very strong break over it. In terms of the hourly chart here, hang on, wait a second. A moment. All right, you can see my flag is trashed. And that's a shame because it was nice. It was very, very, very nice. But as you can see, we've broken over it with a lot of confidence. We haven't retested this high here, so we've currently got no negative divergence. This one, I think, was up to like 21% on the day. That was an amazing move. And it's killed my flag. Do we have other potential flag options? Yeah, we do. They're not as nice. Particularly because this had a beautiful, lovely anchor, lovely resistance, 3-touch resistance trend line. That was really very nice indeed. But do we have options here? Yeah, we do. They're not as good. But in terms of the one I would be watching for, all right. This is the one I'd be watching for here. It's not as nice, but if we are going to form an alternate bear flag, like the one on Solana, we haven't yet reached that. Like the ones on Solana and Bitcoin, we haven't actually reached the potential. That could potentially be a bear flag, but it's not as nice as the one we just lost. And that one is now toast, obviously. All right, great. So we will see how that goes. We have quite a lot of negative divergence on the Solana and Bitcoin charts. We do have potential targets above on all of them, which are worth keeping an eye on. And we're not quite out of the territory where we can say definitively that these are not bear flags forming. And they may well still be bear flag forming, particularly on Bitcoin and Solana. But this break above, if it is sustained into the end of the week, is a warning sign that the bear market low may be behind us. I'll be doing a lot of work on the crypto charts over the weekend, but that's where we are right now. All right, brilliant. In that case, everyone take care. I'll catch you later.